Well, howdy.
Who the fuck is this?
Hello guys, welcome back to a pilot podcast.
What do you mean? It's still we'll still call the show that regardless of what's going
I
on.
don't know. We never discussed it, but it's fine.
Yes, we did.
Oh, we did.
The RSS
blacked
feeds.
I blacked out. You're correct.
Yeah.
I blacked out. Anyway, so hello. You may notice that things are a little bit different because we don't have Fran with us in the studio today. Instead, we have our friend Zane.
Which makes it better.
Does it? Because Franny was good at talking into the microphone.
Did you just mute my shit?
Are you three? No.
Okay.
Speak.
I don't know.
Okay, he's good now. I fixed it.
Oh, yay!
Eddie.
There we go. I figured out who the bum mic was. I got it. I got it. This is something people usually figure out before they start a show. Anyway, guys, what we do here is we review TV show pilots, as well as some of the show itself. But we go over the pilots because we figure the most time dedicating part of doing a show is having to get through its pilot and seeing if the show's going to suck or not. So we do that for you, and we can tell you whether it's dog shit or not. And I got to tell you, today might be one of those days, but we'll see. Do you guys want to just start off with the first show?
Yeah, Black Sails.
Let's do Black Sails. You got the Wikipedia pulled up?
Wikipedia?
Black Sails is an American historical adventure television series set on the New Providence Island and written to be a prequel to Robert Louis Stevenson's 1883 novel Treasure Island. The series was created by John E. Steinberg and Robert Levine for Starz. It debuted online for free on YouTube and other various streaming platforms on video-on-demand services. On January 18th, 2024, the debut on cable television followed a week later on January 25th, 2014. Steinberg...
Did he say 2024?
I think so.
I got really confused by that.
I was like, okay, we're in the future now. Cool.
Where did that happen?
You said 2024, but it's fine.
It's okay. 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's all good.
There's a lot of
we're going to listen to it back and they're going to be like, well, how about this?
We're just bullying you for no reason.
We're just bullying you.
Yeah.
Good.
Guys,
no other
it's a show about fucking pirates, okay? And it was for Starz. That's basically what we need to know. Yeah. I think we got it.
And it was written as a prequel to Treasure Island. I didn't know that when I was watching the series.
Well, that's something. Let's talk about the pilot. Okay, so right off the bat, I think that this show is kind of tuk. It's kind of bad. I think it's like it's trying really hard to be like a high level like Game of Thronesy pirate show, but it just kind of comes off. I used to work at a video store. It very much plays like a pirate porn. There's literally a pubic hair joke in the pilot. So yeah, what did you guys think of it? I thought it was total shit.
So in the beginning, I was like, motherfucker, you were hard to look at. And it was just kind of like, it was slow exposition and just nothing that was really going on. And then towards the very end, he fucking goes like, basically says, I will be king of the pirates. I need to find the big treasure. He's looking for the One Piece, my dude. I now know that was supposed to be Treasure Island. Again, I state he's looking for the One Piece, my dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's just
so we initially planned to do this video like in 2021. So I watched this episode fucking twice because I watched it in like October of last year and then I watched it last night. And both times I cannot like recall what happened.
Oh, I can recall what happened.
It is the most boring thing I think I have ever sat through on this show. And I mean, now hold on a second. The most boring thing. This is worse than the Wilds for me. I would rather watch the Wilds.
God, that's painful.
I understand that it looks better than the Wilds does, and it's and it has a lot more going for it, but I think it just didn't capture my interest. And at least the Wilds is bad in a like I can watch this and shit on it kind of way.
So for the first 4 lines of my notes, I've got why bad CGI sales, fat guy ... plot ? Coward is less fun. Jack Sparrow. Speech from Taserface. Fat guy. ... Dead ?
So here are my notes. They're a little less intense. They're a little less anything at all. I wrote great lesbian sex scene.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that.
Boring is another thing I wrote. I wrote that this is what I call, this is a trademark. I've used it once before on Pilot Pod. This is what I call a snooze button show. And what that means is in the middle of watching this, you might fall asleep, but instead of getting back up, you should just stay asleep. Oh. You know, you should probably wake up, but you just shouldn't at the same time.
So this show was so fucking boring. I got really excited. I was watching it on a particular streaming service that has ads on it.
Yep, we were too. We were too. On Hulu, it's on Hulu.
I got really excited about when the ads came on because it was something else happening that I wrote. I remember I got to see Vanessa Hudgensen's tits. That was cool. Now she does birth control ads. Neat.
Is there that extra syllable in her name?
Hudgens.
I got to see Vanessa Hudgens. What about Blackbeard's bush, y'all? I can't get over that scene. That's the only one that stuck with me, other than Tom Hooper looking like a goober the whole time.
My big question: were they like? Why would the other guys pay for another man to get an orgy?
Because he's a new member of their crew.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and like,
they treated it like a hazing ritual.
Yeah, but it was
like, at first, you have to fuck all these women.
No, because he got all nervous and thought he was going to meet this horrible pirate, and then they're like, "Nah, dude, put some pussy on your sideburns," like Nicki Minaj style, out of nowhere. And this woman walks up with like Osama bin Laden's beard beneath the waist, and it was fucking crazy. Now, don't get me wrong. If that's your vibe, that's cool. But the fact is, the reveal of the pubes was really what caught my eye.
But that's why they were like, "Don't get lost in the black beard." And like whatever that shitty joke was. But I still can't get over, like, literally the plot hinges on the rest of the crew buying this dude.
Lean into your mic a little more. He's new, kids. You can push it forward a little bit.
So this is,
let me help you, baby.
So the entire plot revolves around the fact that, like, literally this dude has to have a bunch of new fucking crew members who don't know him buy him a bunch of hookers and then be like, "Oh, it was a joke. You thought you were going to be scared, but now you just get like mountains of." But she literally says right after the thing, she's like, "You had a pussy for each finger." Like, who the fuck is buying new dude on the boat that and then treating it like it was a prank?
I can give you a simple answer. For one, I don't think these women are particularly expensive.
I was going to say, how much do you think a pirate whore is now?
Yeah, especially one with like pubes that long. Like, that's crazy.
I mean, maybe they're like, she was like the go-to person at the club. They were like she literally after that, like, shows up a bunch of other times. Like, people are like,
it's probably more of a troll, or like she has a reputation and it's like a discount, you know. It's like if you have to pay for a certain length of pube. Paper pube.
Instead of pay-per-view, it's pay-per-pube.
Pay-per-pube.
You know, I wanted to see that Mayweather fight. Would you get the pay-per-view? It's like, no, but I got the pay-per-pube. They're like, what's that? They're like, it's basically Cinemax, but with a lot of pubes. I don't know. Is this going to get demonetized? It doesn't matter.
It's okay.
It's fine. So yeah, like, that was one of the things on the show for me where, like, yes, I understand what you're saying with the price thing, but I find it so peculiar that that's what you drew you in instead of like this Lovecraftian monster vagina with this, like, literally her pubes are more impressive than any beard I could grow.
But I'm saying, why does it?
And it's the same color too.
Like, I wish I could put her pussy on my sideburns. Sorry, Bedrock reference. My bad.
Oh God.
Not for any unreasonable reasons. I just want to like actually like take ownership of that beard.
Franny's gone for 5 minutes and we've derailed.
Yeah, and we're just talking about pubes.
And
but it's honestly, it's really not because of Franny per se. It's because the show is really bad. Like, it's really bad, guys. It's not good.
What did you guys think of the fight scene at the end?
That was the part that I kind of liked.
Yeah.
So here I wrote that, like, I got through all this other shit, and then I'm just like, as soon as that happened, I'm like, Billy's a fucking G, dude. Like, pass him that like blank note, and Billy's like, says right here, and I'm like, my boy. I don't have to worry about him fucking turning around.
Yeah, but also like he did murder that guy who didn't do anything. So at the same time, you're like, what a bro, but also like, way to take part in murder. Like, wow.
Billy's just a ride or die, I guess.
To a dude who's like, what's your name? Like just like 24 hours earlier. Now he's like, I will risk my entire reputation on you. It's not the best writing. The character who's like the daughter of the guy who buys all the foreign good, like all the stolen goods. She's a horrible character, but I love her lesbian sex scene. Honestly, the main thing with this is like this whole episode feels like a really sexy Gilligan's Island because at one point you're just on this fucking island for so long and just nothing's happening except for like inner turmoils and squabbles for a fucking hour and lots of intercourse.
I have like fucking 8 notes that are just like, what the fuck is this exposition? And then the one thing they didn't give any exposition on was just like how fucking Mahatma Gandhi is just like, you have my votes. And I'm just like,
what do you mean? They totally explained that.
They like the dude is just like, I'll get it taken care of. And then Gandhi's on the fucking screen and he's like, you have a vote. You have 8 men. They vote with you. That's 9 votes. That's all we need, baby. And I'm just like, I mean, I know that he's doing stuff and I just wish that like.
But he literally said like the next thing we get, you guys get the first crack at the prize money essentially. Like that was the deal.
I get that was the deal and that was what was talking, but just all of a sudden like they didn't. This character had never been mentioned before. They show like 1,000 characters on boat before they get onto the island.
I don't know, man. I was honestly kind of happy that they didn't feel the need to explain to me every fucking because I don't care about these shipmates.
Explained.
I know that's why this is your complaint about it, but this is it was like a mercy killing of like don't give me another 20 minutes to tell me who this guy is that gets murdered 10 minutes later in the episode.
Agreed. It was an hour long. Didn't need to be an hour long. I think
an hour and 10 minutes.
Well, he hit it on the head where he was like, this is like they're trying to be Game of Thrones, but it's pirates. And I 100% agree with that. They're making it long for the sake of it being long. It's even got that weird like sheen over it, the filter over it so that it looks a little darker than it actually needs to be. It felt
like
bad.
Pirates of the Caribbean mixed with Game of Thrones mixed with like not good storytelling
and everything that should have been like immaculate because we're talking about a Starz show. It's basically like an HBO show.
Yeah.
And there's all these like the one thing that should be good is the cinematography, and I felt like it was really uninspired and kind of Shaq-like. Not Shaq the basketball player, but in the sense that everything looked like it was built like the night before. Like in Shaq, it looks like everything was put together terribly. And then also like that guy says he's a cook and nobody even nobody even
the only time it's
it.
brought up is when they're like, so you think the book with your recipes is there? And he's like, oh yeah, I gave it to the captain. That's where my recipes are all at. That's why you should tell me where the books are. And then like that's the only time it's fucking brought up, him being a cook. That and then what was his name?
He's not a cook, he's a cuck. And that's
Grundle.
Right in the Grundle.
The dude that they're like, hey dude, you're no longer the cook because you're shit at it, and I guess have a mental disability because they're like, oh yeah, he used to be the bosun, and then
did I miss that?
Yeah, dude, when they bring the cook on and he's like, hey, just so you know, like you always knew this was going to be a temporary thing. This guy's a professional cook. Like you're no longer the like stand-in cook. And the dude was like, oh, he was all like upset about it. And then when the not Jack Sparrow guy was like, who the hell
remember
was that?
None of this.
I don't remember any
when did
of
this
that.
happen? To which cook? The guy who's pretending to be a cook or the real one?
No, the real cook of the pirate crew before they got. Yeah, it's this dude, and Billy is like, oh yeah, no, like he used to be the ship's bosun. He got busted in the head a bunch of times, and now he can't think right. And that's like how they describe him. And they're like, that's Grundle. And because the dude was ready.
That's Grundle.
Yeah.
That's how they said it and shit.
It literally sounded like a mafia movie where he's like, that's Grundle. We look out for Grundle. Grundle's family. Like
Grundle is family.
That's where I'm like,
love a good Grundle.
Love a good Grundle.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything extracurricular to say about this that's even worth mentioning? Honestly, like, you already know where I'm going to go with this. I really think that the only thing that's serviceable about the whole show was like the very ending. I thought that whole fight scene was good, and like the political espionage moment of the dude being handed this fucking note and not saying anything and being like,
that was cool.
This is it. That was great character building, but the thing is like everything that was good was like kind of the Billy character with Tom Hooper, and he was a bit of a goober anyway.
I was gonna say the one scene that I gave it like a check mark in my notes because I was like, hey, this is a good thing about this show. The tension that they built in that like the office scene where Billy had just had his like gun pointed
hard
at the
pass. I disagree.
I felt like the tension was being built nicely, and then I got hit with one of the ads.
I just can't
came back to it and they ruined it.
I can't for the life believe that the character who was like, that guy doesn't even listen to me, would actually pull a gun on his own captain in that moment. I just don't see that happening. And so that's why the character moment doesn't work for me. I'm just like, well, there's no fucking way. This dude was such a pussy. He even fucking sided with him at that note thing. He's such a pussy. Tom Hooper, no matter what he's in Hopper, always a puss.
Yeah, but that was before he knew about the whole like Treasure Island thing.
No, I know, but it's still a matter of like when he was talking to the guy from before, he was like, he doesn't listen to me, blah, blah, blah. And the dude was like, what's your name? It just seems like such a large jump for like this huge domineering captain to be put at gunpoint by one of its subordinates. It wasn't believable.
Again, that's
especially
fair.
Given the subordinate.
Yeah.
I'll say I think it's really endearing. And I think it's great that they're trying to make pirate shows because it's one of those topics that I feel like it's really hard to pull off. And I do just like, I amend people who are actively trying to make it work and part of the culture. It didn't work in this scenario for me, but I mean, it worked for some people. The show ran for 4 seasons or 5 seasons, I think.
I think 3.
Okay, fuck my drag. And I and I think that I really want to see more pirate themed things.
Honestly, let's get more pirate themed stuff because nautical things can be interesting and exciting.
Agree.
This is not exciting.
I agree.
There's nothing exciting here.
It's why people are so fascinated with like Call of Cthulhu. It's like there's a lot of things you can do with the nautical subgenre, and they're just not doing it.
All right, so should we just rate the pilot?
I mean, it's a 2 for me, dog.
Dude, 2 is generous. I'm gonna give it like a 1.5, just solely based on the fact that like it's so boring, and that's the worst thing a show can be. If it's bad, and it's not boring, at least like it's keeping you contained, even if the whole time you're like, that's a dumb choice. That's a dumb choice.
Yeah.
This was a show that didn't really make any choices that were like super dumb, but was just incredibly boring.
So I actually gave it a 5 out of 10.
That's still not that favorable.
But because at the very end, he goes, basically, I will be king of the pirates. I'm going to find the One Piece. And I was like, fuck, you got me.
That's depressing that's all it takes.
That's what got it up to a 5. It was probably 2 before.
So should we just pause and jump into the next one, or
do you want to do an ad break? No. Okay, we will see you with One Piece. Hey there, sexy singles. It's CL from your favorite local television podcast, here to tell you that we have some side projects going on we'd love for you to check out. You can watch Average Joe Interviews, where Logan interviews the Average Joe on his channel, youtube.com/Logan Tyler. I have an album called Scorpio. It's linked below. And I make Critical Role recap videos every Saturday on my channel, youtube.com/CLBlueOfficial. Wow, that TV show was so good or bad. I hope you guys subscribe, like, and leave a comment. We'll see you soon.
Hey guys, we're back. And we're here to talk about One Piece. Now, you may be wondering who this gentleman is, unless you already watched the first part of this video, which hopefully you have. This is our boy Zane. But another thing about Zane is that he is basically a preacher to the One Piece religion.
I'm an Otis stand.
He's a huge One Piece fan, so he's here to keep us proper because we're just going to talk about the pilot. Yeah. Do you have the Wikipedia pulled up?
Yeah.
Is One Piece your favorite anime of all time?
So
it's up there if he's thinking about it.
Yeah,
it's. Okay. I would say yes. It's. So I wouldn't. So no, it's not my favorite anime of all time.
So he just went from
One
yes
Piece
to no
is my favorite story of all time.
Okay.
So I really like the manga, but
one of these.
You don't like the adaptation.
One of these. Here we go.
So I'll get into it.
Okay.
I'll get into it in the series spoilers.
Sure.
Which, by the way, I'll tell you what you're allowed to spoil because I don't want you to spoil everything, but we'll get to that. Okay. All right. So let's start with the pilot review. So what's the Wikipedia, my boy?
So the Wikipedia says One Piece is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Ichiro Oda. It has been serialized in Suisha's Shonen Manga Magazine Weekly Shonen Jump since July 1997, with its individual chapters compiled into 101 volumes as of December 2021. The story follows the adventures of Monkey D. Luffy, a boy whose body gained the properties of rubber after unintentionally eating a devil fruit. With his pirate crew, the Straw Hat Pirates, Luffy explores the Grand Line in search of the world's ultimate treasure known as the One Piece in order to become the next king of the pirates.
Fantastic. So we're reviewing the anime adaptation of the manga. Okay. The pilot. Wow, this is Dragon Ball inspired. Let's hear your opinion first. I'm excited. I had other things to say. Go ahead.
This is the worst anime pilot I have ever seen. I'm just saying. I'm so sorry.
The thing that hurts me about this pilot is it's a story that happens in the manga, but the actual pilot, the origin, basically how the series starts, actually plays out in episode 4. Okay. So it's kind of weird. The way that the story starts is kind of they give you the whole setup and everything. It's a lot of fun. It kind of builds hype for the adventure to kind of happen. And the first episode, they basically kind of go through and they're like, hey, we're not going to tell you any of that. Here's a really shitty fight that kind of happens in the manga, but it's not super important. And we're going to start our whole ass fucking gigantic adventure anime on this insignificant ass fight.
Yeah.
Just so that we can introduce Orange Girl.
So you didn't like the pilot either?
So
all right. It's favorite anime. Mm-hmm. I fucking hate the pilot.
I hate the pilot.
All right, let me tell you my thoughts on the pilot. I wrote a lot of notes actually, because it's very clear, and this has been clear for a while, and I've known this, but it's even more clear after I've been going and rewatching Dragon Ball as of late. This show is heavily Dragon Ball inspired, so it's like nautical Dragon Ball almost. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, the character of Luffy and the character of Goku are the same. So they're the same character.
It's because they're both based on Son Goku.
No, if you Google what One Piece, what the creator's number one inspiration was, he says Dragon Ball.
That's what,
and that this isn't a negative. I'm saying if you're into Dragon Ball, you might very well like One Piece because it is very similar. It is a nautical take, a pirate take on a lot of what the Dragon Ball series was, where it's a huge epic action adventure comedy, right? That's kind of what One Piece is. And I watched till episode 6, but we'll get into that after the pilot stuff. But let me finish what I'm going to say about the pilot, and then you can get to why you totally disagree with the factual information. So it's very Dragon Ball inspired, which is fine. I think that that's really cool, and I think that it adds things that are very different than the Dragon Ball stuff. And I think that I would really I don't know about the future of the show per se, but I think I'm assuming there's a huge time jump because that's how all these animes work, right? Or there's a notable time jump.
So there's a 2-year time jump.
That's a huge time jump. So anything over
One Piece
6 months
Shippuden.
is a
And
notable time
that
jump.
actually happened about halfway into the series. We're now as far from the time jump as the time jump is to the start of the series. So
Okay.
basically at this point it's happened
So-
about halfway through the series.
So my point is, when there's a time jump in, now people in the Western world know it as Dragon Ball Z, but in Japan and plenty of other places it's just Dragon Ball, and then the huge time jump is when the US started calling it Z, because that is a huge change in the show's format, and there's huge character growth that basically you couldn't accept without knowing the previous information, but basically it's getting into its more nitty-gritty, more I guess you could say impressive aspects of storytelling. I think that that's probably what's going to happen with this show, and that's why I don't want you to spoil it. I actually want to fucking get into it and do like a series roundup with you, just me and you.
Absolutely.
I will not put you through that.
Thank God.
But
It's like 1,000 episodes, right?
yeah, I'll dive in.
Yeah.
I'll dive in. Whatever. Because I want to have a concise conversation about what I think of it. Do I think it's a great pilot? No. But is it the kind of pilot that I'd like in anime? Kinda. I think the real issue is like there's some character choices where it's like, I just met this Luffy character. Can he not be such an asshole? And like, I get that he isn't, and that he's just more on the ignorant side of some things, and like very like, forward strong mentally. And you get that from the pilot too. But it's just like, I'm supposed to like you. Like, I just think you're kind of a dick. And like we're actively seeing a pirate berate and ruin this pink-haired child's life. And then they're like, by the way, we don't like this pirate, but you don't like this pirate, but we want you to like this other pirate, even though at the top you're not seeing any discernible differences in attitude or way they treat people. I think that's a problem with the pilot. But I also think that this is one of those shows, just like Dragon Ball Z, where it's really hard, or Dragon Ball, whatever you want to call it. It's hard to have the introduction. You need to suspend a certain level of disbelief. You need to accept things about characters that are annoying or frustrating in order to entrance yourself in the plot. So I think I liked the pilot, but I definitely didn't like it as much as the rest of the stuff I watched of it. Now you may say your piece.
Okay, so
I thought it was important that I say,
no,
because
absolutely.
you got real touchy about that Dragon Ball comment, but it's not really a negative, and it is factually accurate.
They're both shonen, so like everything shonen
There's
kind
no
of is
competition.
related.
We have our own opinions
and
on it.
that's all perfectly fine. Basically, just what I was going to say is absolutely Ichiro Oda is influenced by Akira Toriyama,
Mhm.
but at the same time, like, you can be influenced. The basis of the character actually comes far before Goku, though, because they're both Goku and Monkey D. Luffy are
Based on the Monkey King, yeah.
Sun Wukong,
Yeah.
like the Monkey King,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just kind of like.
But the literal, the artistic decisions, the drawing, the sound design, everything in the anime is based off of Dragon Ball, and then the manga, a lot of these character choices, a lot of these supplementary characters' ideas. I mean, basically, it's great they cast Christopher Sabat as one of these characters, and we'll talk about it in the spoiler section because it's not in the pilot. But they cast Piccolo as a certain character in the show, and it's because it is Piccolo.
Yeah. Well,
that's not a character from the Monkey King. It's a character that was completely inspired by Dragon Ball. These are the facts. That doesn't make them wrong. Doesn't mean that one's better than the other. I'm just saying that there's definitely, like, I would say equal to or as much inspiration from Dragon Ball as the Monkey King. I mean, there's tons of it. And I know because I just watched all of it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And again, also one of the other things that I was going to talk about was when you had mentioned what we'll get into in the spoilers. So I do have an overarching series spoiler, but it's not actually anything specific. It's kind of just a general theme.
Just keep it vague if you want, if you want to do that roundup video. If you don't, I guess spoil it. I won't do it.
I definitely would love to do the roundup
video.
I
think that could be super entertaining. Very time consuming, but what I got from the pilot is like, oh, you know what? This show's kind of bad from the pilot, but I'm like, it's also the kind of bad show that I'm into.
It's that like
it's that
90s,
shitty
early 2000s kind of like suspend your disbelief. Shit's gonna be weird.
Take Dragon Ball and Pirates of the Caribbean and Ocean's 11, One Piece.
But again, just
that's
like,
what it is. That's what it is for those first 10 episodes.
Yeah,
or whatever I watched.
Absolutely. And that's I feel like one of the big themes that kind of like definitely Dragon Ball lent so much to this show, the same way it lent Bleach and Naruto right at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kind of like,
that's why I was so shaken by your response.
No, and I've never tried to downplay, like, because like everybody, like, Dragon Ball is the GOAT. Like, that is the thing that, like, yeah, you have things before that, Neon Genesis, Trigun and shit.
The Monkey King.
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying,
but I mean, like,
general,
there's
like,
tons of
anime.
Influential stories and animes that came before. Yeah, of course, yeah.
But that's like watching, like, just the way that basically Dragon Ball has raised multiple generations now that you're going from the Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. Now you're getting down to the Demon Slayer, My Hero,
Boruto.
Yeah,
Boruto, yeah.
Yeah, you're getting to those like
Sakura.
Second, third
Sakura.
generation things that have come out of just what Dragon Ball has done. So it's obviously like everything is going to have, like, if it came after Dragon Ball, it's going to have that hint.
But I do think that this one in particular is like if you had made like a teen Goku.
Yeah.
And you put him on the open water. I mean, he's literally in search of something in specific. Everybody underestimates his power.
Mm-hmm.
He's incredibly childlike. It's all the same beats and notes, and that's okay because I like the spin. Now let's talk about the actual pilot, and like then we can get into the spoiler section. I feel like we're getting sidetracked. All right, the pilot of this episode opens up with some pirates and shit, right? There's a barrel. They're like, holy shit, is it beer? It's not beer. It's Luffy, bitch. All right. They open the bitch up. Luffy's like, what up? I'm hungry. He eats a bunch of their food. He helps pink-haired guy fight this lady. He calls this random stranger a fat lady. That was kind of fucking rude. That's some shit that Goku would do, but not the point. Fight breaks out between Luffy and this woman. That's the end of the episode. Couldn't we have chopped it up and done a little bit more of episode 2 and episode 1?
And that's
shocking. For 22 minutes, this is the longest 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it drags and there's so much talking in between characters.
And I think that's what my big issue, like, as a One Piece, like One Piece is probably, again, my favorite anime or my favorite story in general, because I prefer the manga to the anime. But like in general,
you should have like pushed up your glasses right as you said that.
Yeah. And I watch it subbed. No,
I did watch it subbed because I watched the pilot before dubbed. There's hardly a difference. The four kids dub is a little corny.
Yeah.
But it's not that different.
But no,
it's really not. You can watch it either way. I know that people say it's that different. I didn't feel that way. That's my opinion.
The hardest part about this show is the fact that literally they make the intro into the series a quick little, like, literally this is like one, maybe less than one chapter is this story in the manga. And like most of the time this manga is condensing like 5-6 chapters per episode. That's how fucking dense they pack some of these stories. But then this one, they stretch one shitty chapter out to a whole thing. Well, the only reason they did it was actually to introduce Nami in the pilot, the orange hair girl, because people fucking love Nami in the original like manga and everything. So they're like, we got to get Nami in there as quick as possible. So they changed the story from the Romance Dawn arc, which is the natural beginning of the story, over to this story because they're like, oh shit, we can throw Nami in there, and then we got bitches.
I don't have a problem with people converting story from the page to the screen differently. I think that, like, you know, we look at like the Harry Potter movies, right? Like the part 1 and part 2 of Deathly Hallows, as much as people bitched about it, was pretty necessary. But at the same time, you know, like we could have probably put like the context of Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince into one movie if we really wanted. Just because of how little both movies did on their own, even though Half-Blood Prince I really like a lot. I know we're not reviewing Harry Potter, but my point being is that I don't like to compare the literature to the show, but I will say this. It's very obvious that there was a huge failure because I saw the pilot the first time a couple of months ago, and I almost didn't even want to continue. Just because I was like, it's not even
Was
like
it
the
when I asked
characters.
you to watch the first 4?
No, I rewatched it this time, and then I was like, I'll rewatch the first 4 for Zane, and I was like, I'll just watch more of it because I'm not really having as much of a problem with it. But I probably would have watched at least like another episode because that one it's not even conclusive. It's hard to define a show like this in a pilot, but I think they utterly failed with this pilot. So
that's why I like to say, like, for anybody that I'm trying, if I can give my rating of the pilot first, it's a 2. I do not like this pilot because I feel like it does a bad job of introducing people to the premise of the show, because it's a lot of like the whole premise of the show is like, we're going on an adventure, shit's gonna be fucking crazy, and then it's just like, oh, Luffy woke up in this barrel and there's this big bitch, and it's like, yeah, that's something that like Luffy having to wake up into a barrel because he's so fucking irresponsible is something that the story needs to know, but that's not fucking pilot worthy. That's why I say I like to tell people, like, hey, if you're trying to get into One Piece, watch the first 4 episodes. If you cannot get into it, it's not for you. Because after the first 4 episodes...
Did you just notice that he rated the Black Sail pilot higher than
One Piece?
The
One Piece pilot?
Yeah.
That's him. He's... I think your feelings might also be a little hurt by the pilot. I think the pilot is so bad it hurt your feelings at this point, because I don't even think it's worse than Black Sail. Like I think this is like a 3. This is like maybe even a 4. Like this isn't that bad.
Is this the reveal that he loved Black Sails, and because we shat on it, he was like,
oh no. I don't think he would. I don't know how you could. But yeah, I give it. You know what? We'll meet in the middle. I'll give it a 3.5. I think that it. I hated the pirate that he dealt. I hated like the intro villain.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just so blank canvas, and like I know that one of the things that One Piece is actually really popular for is having like really captivating like villains of the week or villains of the chapter or whatever you want to call it. And this was like, what the fuck's her name?
Elvita.
Like,
she does come back in the series, but
fuck that. Who cares? I'll skip that episode. She's so boring, and like, oh, her character trait is that she's ugly and doesn't like to be told she's ugly. Like, me neither, bitch, but get over it. Like,
literally in the series,
in
the series, this isn't a real spoiler because it actually doesn't matter greater context.
We'll just wait till after this.
Yeah, just wait a sec.
Just wait 1 second.
Okay.
Wait 1 second. Okay. I will give this slightly better than Black Sails. I think I agree. It's like a 3.5 for me.
Wow. And we're like on the same note.
And it's 100% because I think they introduced a villain that is not a great, captivating villain. She's
not even just
like
not great, but like
there.
actively kind of bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I compare it to like the level of villain for me is like, she's like a bad Courage the Cowardly Dog villain that we forget. Like, she's nothing. She's just creepy and weird and not that interesting. And the pink haired dude's a fucking
annoying.
The pink haired dude will wear a Blue Lives Matter shirt. Like, I fucking hate him. He's a fucking pussy.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate like patriotic fucking.
You should, yeah.
Like, go vote for fucking Trump, you pink little.
So this would be something in the wrap up. I don't really want to talk about it.
You can't talk about it.
Okay,
for a general spoiler, but it's definitely pink hair is that way.
Of course,
his name is,
you can tell right away.
Kobe,
it was there.
But he actually gets like, so this isn't a huge spoiler. He gets like a whole redemption arc and becomes like dissociated with the movement. And it's fucking dope when he's like, Blue Lives Matter. You got to stand up for the police. And then he's
absolutely believe that's
what
a spoiler.
What the fuck are the police doing?
That's 100.
That's definitely a spoiler.
It's a side arc.
It's fine.
It hasn't.
It's fine.
Anyway,
let's get to the spoilers.
We're gonna move on to spoilers, and we should do who he thinks we are, because I don't.
Oh
know.
yeah, Go ahead. Who do you think we are on the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can speak on any character that arrives within the first 15 episodes,
and let us know in the comments how much you disagree.
Episodes.
Yeah, don't go any further than that based on accidental spoilers.
Yeah.
Main characters.
Yeah, main characters within the first, because there's some that are introduced like way later. So the main characters within that first 15 episode arc.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and busted out within the first episode. Nami.
Is that the misty haired bitch?
Yeah, that's the one that's straight up fucking misty.
Okay.
And then
If you call me that fat woman, I will be furious.
Alvita.
No, just, not even because she's fat, but because she's so uninteresting.
She's so ugly.
I don't care about that.
I would say you're my Zoro.
You think I'm Zoro? You think I'm your Zoro?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Which one's
Yeah.
Zoro? Is he green?
So he's
green.
the green boy. He literally shows up in the last second of the episode in the most 90s way. He's fucking like strapped to a cross, and then you hear this electric guitar come in, and it starts doing a fucking zoom right up to his face, and he's got his face all covered, and then you just see an eyeball, and he's like,
That's pretty much how it goes. Yeah.
I'm like, that's the most fucking ridiculous thing ever. It's so 90s, early 2000s, and I fucking love it.
Now that we're in this, are you Luffy? Is that what
I
you're
do
saying?
love putting swords in my mouth.
So
Same.
I feel like I would want to be Luffy, but I feel like I'm probably just Sanji. Like Sanji's a great fucking character, and he gets more shit later on in the show, but he's the fucking cook. It's like, hey guys, I can kick kind of all right, and I fucking cook good. And I'm like, that's basically what
We learned from our other show that cooks are important, so I'm glad you're important.
Grundle.
Exactly, precisely. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the supplementary episodes that I watched. Okay, I do think that you were a little off with when the show really kicks on. I feel like episode 5 is like a moment for me where it's like, okay, we're starting to assemble a crew, and the crew is starting to sound less like an objective idea and more like, an epic upstart where you're like, that there's people that are going to come into the fold, Big Short, Ocean's 11 style, where they're all going to have their own supplementary skills. And
you got to remind me, I'm on episode 1000 something. So episode 5, that's Buggy, right?
Episode 5, I believe, yeah, it's Buggy.
Yeah, the clown.
But I think it's episode 5 is actually the one where it's the dog guarding the pet food shop.
Yeah, that happens during the Buggy arc.
Yeah. But I think Buggy was introduced the episode right before that, and then that episode came out. I liked.
Well, the episode before, the episode 4 is that's Romance Dawn. That's what I consider to be the start of the show.
Okay, so then maybe I'm thinking of episode 6. Then it all kind of blurs together a little bit.
And just like any shonen anime, like they're hit.
This one is like. This one's so much more of a binge experience because there's moments where episodes end and you're just like, okay. Like I wrote at the end of episode 2 that what's her name? That Bulletproof song, the Bulletproof. That should have played at the end because he takes all these bullets and he next time, baby, I'll be. That's what I instantly thought of. I actually have a fuck ton of notes about the One Piece stuff. Like,
I love LaRue.
Let's go.
Okay,
what's LaRue up to?
Like I said
in the comments.
What is she up to? She was so fucking hot.
I loved her.
She was fucking killing it, bro. She was like hot on the charts, dude.
I'm not your toy.
And then she just disappeared. What happened?
Love you.
She probably got kidnapped by Rick James. Did you hear about all that stuff?
I have no idea what's happening.
Rick James
the fuck is this person you're talking about?
You don't know who LaRue is?
She sings that next time, baby. I'm
going in for the kill.
You don't know that song?
I'm sure that I've heard of it.
You definitely have. Well, let's move on to my notes. Sorry. Calls a total stranger fat lady. Yep. Ocean's 11 meets Dragon Ball. Already wrote that. Pink-haired guy wears a Blue Lives Matter shirt. The Marines guy. Do you remember
Captain
the son?
Morgan.
Do you remember his son?
So yeah.
Have you seen Yu-Gi-Oh! GX?
Yes.
There's a character in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. He's like a trans teacher, right? Or she, whatever that person wants to be called. I know they're evil, but I respect you. They had this character is in this One Piece episode. And it's like this wimpy ass fucking like, my daddy's gonna punish you if you're mean to me. Goo woo. And I thought that character was so fucking funny. And I know that people probably hate that character and don't even want him on screen, but I think he was so obnoxious that it was making me giggle, dude.
What's funny about that? Your exact feelings. Most of the public, most of the readership was like, Man, that dude was a fucking dick.
That dude,
Get him back in here.
Yeah, he was so ridiculous. He literally at one point was like, he had this angry dog that was like, "Rah, rah, rah," and like biting everybody and shit. And then one lady was like, please don't bite me, dog. He's like, if you don't let my dog bite you, I will fuck you infinitely. And then like he goes to kill a little girl, and Zora walks in, and he's like, you're not gonna fucking kill this little girl. And he kicked a stool at him, which was hilarious. But his reaction to, you kicked a stool at me? And I was just like, that's what I do when I'm upset. I go, he was actually so shocked. That character was super fucking funny. Captain Morgan, he had Trumpian vibes to me.
Yeah.
That felt like a very real character that people thought was too cartoonish, but it was actually very accurate. So yeah, he's an asshole though. Captain Morgan's a fucking dick. I think the one thing about that was revealed, not even in the first episode, this is revealed later, or maybe it was in the first episode and I missed it. But since he ate the fruit, they gave him the super rubberiness.
The devil thing?
Yeah.
The devil
he
powers.
can't. Nobody who eats these fruits can swim.
I don't think I knew that.
And
That's introduced in Romance Dawn.
I really like that because for one, I want some sort of like backlash and trade-off, because the number one thing you get in nautical pirate tales is the curse of fine treasure, right?
And it's always so the thing that's so much worse about that in the One Piece universe, there's almost no land. Like it doesn't take place
I know.
on Earth.
You see, it's just this fucking
it's literally like a big circle, and actually that landmass that circles around the world, it's like fucking tens of thousands of feet up in the air. Like it's just sheer cliffs, that big ass mountain mass, and then tiny little island. So
I'm
like,
gonna make a prediction about the show.
The fact that it's like you can't swim, that's the most obnoxious thing ever. 99% of the world is water.
I'm gonna make a prediction about the show, and you can't tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
I just
we're in spoilers now, aren't we?
But I don't want to know.
Oh, okay.
Because we're gonna do this wrap up.
Okay.
I am guessing that they believe they have a full map of this world.
No.
He just said he didn't want to know.
That's something that you learn.
But you didn't even let me finish my statement. I said they believe they have a full map of this world, but they're going to discover more land or more areas that people don't know about. They're going to go to uncharted areas.
I won't say anything about the second half of that, whether yes or no. But
don't say anything about any of it. Just let it go. Wash it from you. That's the point. The point is for us to hark back on this later and be like, was I right at all? Not to be like, no.
That'll be something that
don't fucking talk about One Piece like that.
That'll be something that you learn probably episode.
You don't fucking know shit about One Piece, bitch. Like that's how it felt when you did that, but it's okay. It's all good. Okay. Anyway, another thing. Obviously, is it Nami? She's hot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Thank you.
She is hot though. I mean, and in a way where it's like, okay, they know what they're doing.
Can you like talk some more about like Zoro and Nami for like me, as I've only seen one episode, so like what's their personality like?
You go ahead.
So the
just don't get into too many spoilers.
Yeah, the first people that you'll meet in kind of this intro area, I guess you would put it, you get the first probably like half of the crew. So you've obviously got Luffy. You get Zoro, that's the second one that comes on. Then Sanji, then eventually they get Usopp, and then Nami actually joins the crew last.
I was gonna say I didn't think she
she's the first.
She's there though. She's there because there's at one point where like they're making deals with each other and being like, you do this for me, we'll team up for this moment.
So I mean, she's doing like a Faye Valentine.
She's so obviously, she's doing like a Faye Valentine thing.
That's actually in the pilot. Basically, when she like does that like clothes swap, I literally wrote.
That's terrible, by the way. I almost wrote off the show right then and there.
Nami is Faye.
She does this thing where she's like costume change. And I just thought that was horrible.
Which doesn't happen literally
thank you for reminding
any
me.
Other part in the show.
But it's
like,
so bad.
It's never, she never goes back to that like almost like Team Rocket style. Like they pull off the disguise and it's Team Rocket.
And also if she's not a fucking pirate, quit dressing like a pirate. the bandana on your head, dude.
She's a cat burglar.
She looks like a fucking pirate. If I was draw me a hot, sexy lady pirate, we're gonna draw this woman who is apparently anti-pirate. That's a design flaw, and I think it should be noted.
She should have dressed later in the series.
She should have dressed way more, like less in the sense of like, oh, I'm a fucking.
Did you want her to have like a black turtleneck on?
No, honestly,
I wanted her to be Zoe Kravitz.
Honestly, it doesn't make any sense for her to dress specifically like a pirate. Unless she's trying to infiltrate pirates.
It does, but you haven't gotten to that yet.
That's true, but I'm reviewing what I know. And that's all I can do. And if they retconned that or addressed it or made it better, that's fine. But you have to consider that people are going to watch this shit in order.
It's not so much that they retconned it. It's actually something that literally in a couple of episodes.
They address it, yeah.
It's you go like, hey, that was a weird thing. And then they're like, hey, did you catch this weird thing? It's because this. Like, it's specifically.
But I hate that in shows. Why do you have to fucking explain to me your weird decision? Why can't I come to that realization on my own?
But I'm saying that, like, there's no way for you to know something before they tell you.
But there is, though, because okay, I understand the idea of a reveal. I get that.
Yeah, and they're just setting up for a reveal.
But let me ask this: is the reveal of any note or worth?
Yes.
Okay, then all I can go off of is what they've already revealed to me, Zane.
And that's what I'm saying. And for me, they revealed something. That was you bad. Picked it up, and then like you'll be like, "That was a weird thing." And then when they say like, "Hey, actually, this," you're like, "That's why this fucking weird thing that I noticed." It's a reveal. It's something that like you're picking up on, and you're like, "That's weird." Most people would be like, "Oh, I didn't even notice it." Wait, what? That comes out of left field. But they laid the seeds for the reveal, which is what you have to do for a good reveal. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
That's not necessarily true.
I can give you the reveal.
Laying the seeds is accurate. It's not even that. The problem is that I'm on episode 10 or something of that matter, somewhere in that arena, and I saw that happen, and it didn't make any sense. And it wasn't like something that was interpretive. It was just a silly moment in this anime that was never reincorporated for me, in my perspective. The problem with a reveal like that is that there was no sense of a mystery or a misunderstanding. It came off like a kooky costume change from a 4Kids anime that you watch a Saturday morning. That's what happened. That pilot is riddled with shit like that, and that's why it's bad, in my opinion. And that's why I don't really care about the reveal, even if it is good, because the way it was presented storyline-wise took away from the story for me. That doesn't mean it did that for everybody, but for me, I was like, that was fucking stupid. And I can feel that way about it until maybe something's later brought up. But that's still a storytelling flaw because you're watching. And you can either interpret, you can prepare supply, you can prepare reveals and them not be terrible until they're revealed. And I think that it's fine that it turned out better and you can be like, oh, okay, well, that's cool that it turned into that. But I'm still going to view it as a flaw because it was flawed in its execution, because I hated it when it happened, and not in a way where it was like, I didn't like that decision or that choice. I was just like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
But again, it doesn't make any sense because you haven't gotten to the part that makes sense.
I know. But you can do that without giving that reaction to people.
So, but what you're saying is like they can't set something up.
All right, I'll explain in more broad terms. Let me finish. They came out and they go, "What do you think of that?" And I'm like, "Huh?" And then they changed. And for me, I was like, "Well, that was annoying. That's just my opinion." You understand what I'm saying? Like for me, it's probably more annoying than it's going to be when it's explained. Because I was understanding. For me, I had to come to the realization 2 or 3 episodes later that she fucking hated pirates, right? But she just looked like one.
So
for no reason.
You've literally said the fucking reason multiple times. You just don't know that it's the reason.
But it doesn't matter.
But that's what I'm saying is basically like if way late in the series they can't do a callback to something that happened earlier.
But the thing about callbacks is that they have to be either subtle or well produced. I just think that callback in general, no matter what it is, and I could be wrong, but it's not going to make me feel differently about seeing it in that moment.
And
if it will, then fine. But I have to live in the moment of which I'm watching the show. I can't assume that it's going to get better. I have to watch it and appreciate and rate as I'm seeing it. Just like how Cody only saw the pilot, he's going to talk about the pilot. I only saw the first 10 episodes, so I can say what I think about those, but I literally cannot even speak to it. All I know is I saw a decision made. I thought it was bad, and I guess I'm just going to have to see how it turns out, but it's not going to change the fact that that was a bad experience for me in that moment.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, but
how do you not see what I'm saying? Cody, can you say whether you at least understand what I'm saying? Okay.
No, I
just need to know that I'm not sounding like total like bonkers bullshit. I get
what you're saying. In order for it to be a comeback and like a callback, not a comeback, in order for it to be a callback, it sort of has to make sense in that moment as well.
Or at
in
least
that moment, what you said like is
the execution
of
like
a pirate.
Okay, but let's put it this way. The execution of the scene has to physically make sense. It doesn't mean that it has to be something that I like or dislike. It just was like literally she threw on this different outfit for no apparent reason.
Yeah, but so if we're just going with the context of the first episode, that would happen, and then you would think, oh, she must be a rival pirate or something. Because you don't learn in the first episode that she hates pirates.
I know, and that's why
later.
That's the issue.
So
that was my critique. As you went on, all of a sudden I'm faced with this character. I'm like, oh, another pirate. And she's like, actually, I'm not a pirate. And I'm like, well, what the fuck were you doing? But it's not a reveal.
That sets up a later reveal.
But it's not okay. It's not well executed, is my point.
But you can't be like, oh, I hate the fact that they said something in episode 2 that didn't have resolve in episode 3.
You're watching Gossip Girl. All right. Somebody walks in a Barracuda costume. All right. 13 episodes go by. You want to know the reason for that Barracuda costume? Sure. It was this. Why the fuck did you show it to me? It served no purpose.
But if it has a reason in the show, it has a purpose.
But it wasn't like a purposeful misdirect because it was such an unimportant moment that it held no weight to how I was going to feel.
Okay, so I'm just gonna
about the scene at hand.
Spoil 10 episodes ahead of you.
Okay.
So you're like, she looks like a pirate. Oh no, I just learned she doesn't like pirates. Oh, turns out she is actually a pirate.
But that doesn't matter.
But she hates the pirates that she works for. So yeah, she is a pirate. And then she's like,
why the fuck did she change her outfit in order to do this? Why did she go
was in fancy clothes and then she was like
fashion show for no reason? That's my point.
Don't get me wrong. You're dumb.
Actually wrong. Exactly. It's dumb. You just said it yourself.
But I'm saying it does serve a purpose.
I didn't say it didn't serve a purpose. I was saying it
was bad. Is what
in context, I was saying it didn't serve a purpose to the story, but I said it was a bad choice, and apparently I was dead right. So there we go. Anyway, One Piece, guys, have you seen it? Let us know in the comments below what you think of it. If you liked our discussion, our heated discussion on the matter, let us know. I thought this was very productive, but actually, no, it was very fun. And I thank you for bringing your One Piece knowledge. I really want, if there's something extra you want to add after statement.
So final thought.
Definitely. I think you should give the final thought.
Yeah. So I think the issue that is the most apparent in the anime in general. So one of my favorite arcs is just basically they're going out. They found a weird island. They hop off the ship. And they just like have a weird little adventure on the island. And it's so quick and concise. I think it's like 2 chapters. It's just like, it's one of the smallest arcs.
Is it a season in the show, basically?
Basically.
Yeah, that's what they always fucking do.
They're literally like, this is my favorite arc. I love it. It's so short and it's just a fun, literally they do what the show promises. And they're like, we're just going to go out, have an adventure, find a random island and just like have fun.
That's anime to a T.
And then like they bring it into the show for a 2-chapter arc. They put like 12 episodes towards it. And it's just so fucking boring. You're like, these characters are only fun characters as villain of the week, but then you made it a whole fucking half of the season is just this random fucking character that was a lot of fun in a small dose, but now he's fucking annoying. And I feel like that's probably the biggest issue I have with the anime in general. But I do love the story of One Piece, and I think it's just a lot of fun.
In regards to the anime being spread out a little bit, I do want to just say this one thing. That is so commonplace. And the reason why showrunners will do that for anime is that a lot of anime and manga, sorry, a lot of mangas and stuff, they have characters do really long sessions in the same place, you know, just because like they're telling a different kind of story. And the reason why showrunners will make a quick arc so long is it's like, oh, we get to be somewhere new to captivate the audience in a different way. Like you said it was like a quick like 2-chapter arc.
Yeah.
It probably would have come out to be about
it would have been like
episodes.
An episode.
If they really wanted to stretch out that arc naturally, if they wanted to really,
I think the max you could do is 2 episodes because there's like that's,
and they stretched it to a season. That's anime.
They stretched it to like 7 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, and that's like, way too many.
Yeah, it's literally
2
like
chapters.
Like when this book, like when these volumes have like like over 1,000 chapters in it now, and you've got about 1,000 episodes. It's like that ratio is basically a 1-to-1. If you did a 1-to-1, you're fucking golden. But they keep doing like they'll just find random shit and be like,
but to give the anime runner a point to point in this direction, their 1-to-1 might be like, all right, this whole episode takes place in this one location, and so do the next 13. Yeah. So I understand some of that. Like I said, page to screen is always a little different, and they have to change things. But you know, I agree that probably was way too long for that. Mm-hmm. So is that all we got to say today?
I think so. Where can they find you guys? Do you have anything you want to plug, Zane?
I don't have any plugs.
No, he's got nothing to plug. Plug my channel. It's youtube.com/Logan Tyler.
Or he can plug Team Hyperfang, which is a gaming channel that we have where we're playing a Pokemon Diamond Nuzlocke.
I feel like you guys are
plug the channel right now, youtube.com/Pilot Podcast.
You said you have nothing to plug.
We also are going to be doing an episode of a cinema podcast, a cinnamon podcast with our boy here, all under the, we'll wait. We already kind of announced.
Well,
it's in, we'll wait. It's in one of the thumbnails though, but
Held Captive. Yeah,
we are going by Held Captive Media.
That's our company name.
We're going to be doing all sorts of different shows, as you guys know, but we finally found a all-encompassing name for it. So and that's the plan.
What do you do on your personal channel?
Oh, I do. So I have interviewed some famous people in the past, and they have been really boring. So I decided to start a show in which I interview everyday people. Aside from you, Nassim Pedrad, you were really cool.
I love her.
But I interview everyday people, talk about their lives and their interesting stories. And everyone's got a great story to tell, and you should go listen to it. It's also on all podcast platforms. So you just look up Average Joe Interviews with Logan Tyler. So that's on that channel, as well as clips from all my different other podcasts and things like that. So thank you.
I make music. I have an album called Scorpio. It's out now on all streaming platforms. Hey guys, and also CL. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/CLBlueOfficial, where I make Critical Role content. Thank you guys so much for your support over there, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, it's CL. Pilot Podcast.